Hi, good day. My name is Shimwe Song. I'm here this day to represent Group 3. I'm here to present our implementation aspect of our assignment on Databricks. We have decided to show how data frame looks like in Azure Databricks. Is how working with data frames in Databricks. Like every other stuff that is being done in Azure, the first thing to do is to create a resource group. Currently, I'm in my Azure account, and the first thing to do, like I said, is to create a new resource group. And for my home case, I have a new resource group that have been created because of time, and I called it Business Intelligence. Business Intelligence is my resource group, and in there are a few things that needed to be done before we jump into what we need to do. Number one is that we need to create our Databricks. This is a service on Azure. I have created mine, but in case you want to create a new service, what you just need to do is just to go here, click on create. You can search for Databricks, then you find Azure Databricks, then you click on create, then you fill out all the details, then you create. It's as simple as that. So, but like I said, not to waste time, I have done that. I've created mine. So before I go into this, another thing we also need, very important, is that whenever we are working in Azure, we need, a storage account, where our data is going to be stored. So for this assignment, I've also created a storage account, called Final Group 3. That's my storage account. And in this storage account, we have several services. We can use our blob service, where we store our service, like, as we did in the data frame assignment. So we can also go the way of security, it's just a very good service. So I've decided to have that one created also. Final, they call it Final Group 3 assignment. So, like I said, it's as simple as, to create that, you can just click create, then click on storage account, storage account, storage account. So it will take you there. Then you can just click on create. When you click on create, you have all your details, to be filled out. Then you can create it. So, like I said, I've done that. So now let's jump into it. Now that every other thing has been done, now let's quickly go into our uh, Azure Databricks. So when you click on Azure Databricks, you'll find a platform like this. So the next thing to do is to click on launch worksheet. So when you click, you get to this platform. There are a lot of things here also, but to save time, the very important thing you need to do when you get here, before you can work on anything, you need to create a cluster. So we need to create a cluster. We click on new cluster. So we want to call our cluster, let's call it assignment, let's call it final assignment, assignment 5. So you want to show your cluster mode, which is standard. You want to show your Databricks running time. Depends. So I'm going to choose the last one because I don't want to waste more time, more money. So I can choose, the list. So also very importantly, you need to uncheck this, enable auto scaling, because it's just one account that is doing it. I'm not the only one that is doing this. And if you enable it, it's going to consume a lot of money. So in order to save your money, you can uncheck it. Also, I'm going to reduce my time to 60 minutes. then also reduce my workers to 1. Then after this, I'm going to also take my list storage account because I don't have much to do. I will pick this. I want to go with standard. I want to go with standard 4x. So after every other, after all this have been done, the next thing is to click on create cluster. This is going to take a lot of time. So I will come back after this has been done. Yeah, now our cluster is ready. It took approximately 3 minutes 30 seconds for this to to be created. Like I said, sometimes it can take up to 5 minutes, but this one is very fast. So now we have done this. The next thing is to get our data into our cluster. So I want to click on data. So when you get here, you want to click on create table. So when you click on create table, you want to click on click browse. So I want to get my data. I have my data here, CSV, one of my CSV that I want to use. So when you click on this, it's going to load up. So I will want to copy this because we will need it later, that part. So we want to create our table. When you create our table, very importantly, this is our cluster that was created. So you want to click on that. Don't forget when we created final assignment 5 the other time, so we want to use that cluster. Then let's preview our table. So we preview our table. You create the database to be default. Our file type is CSV, as we know. So now, then we want to make our first row a header. Let's click that. Let's go to turn our first row to header. Then we can also interfere schema. So let's just, after then, we click create table. Let's see, it's going to create our table. Creating table. So our table is created, you can see. Schema is telling us, the column name, the data type, string, integer, double, and it's telling us sample data. This is our data, sample of our data. So now we are good to go. So the next thing to do is to go into our workspace. So when we go to get into our workspace, we want to click on users. Then we get to users. You want to right click outside, you want to click on your account. Then when you get here, you want to right click and create a new table. So more importantly, I want to talk about we have different types of languages that we can use to work in Databricks. One of such language is Python. We have Python, we have Scala, we have SQL, we have R. But for this demonstration, I will be using Python. So I want to create my table. I want to name it demo assignment. Demo assignments. So then let's create our table. So let's create our notebook. So now we want to run some code now. So the first thing we want to run is we want to actually try to locate our file. We want to create our file now. So I have some code I want to paste because of time. Now, this is file location and type. Don't forget I said that we should try and copy the part the other time. So I'm going to put that part here and try to run. So what I've done is that I try to run and ask my to display my data frame. Now you can see Spark job, and this is what we have done. From here we have our data frame. We have this is our data frame. We have here. So we can as well stop here, but even here there are a lot of things we can do here. We can do our analysis here. We can decide to do analysis here. For instance, do some pi, go Instagram, do a lot of things. There are a lot of things we can even do. Line graph, a lot of stuff can be have been done here. But I want us to do some stuff, more stuff here. And another thing I would love us to do is to run some PySpark data frame. So I'm gonna paste some code. So another thing I plan, try to do was I want to really form my data frame at the same time. So this is my X data frame. Then at the same time, I want to also read my CSV. And I quickly, this is what I've done. So reading this, if you execute it, you are going to get this. So reading my data frame. So don't forget, initially when I showed you this in our in the data, when I was showing you different type of, so this is it. So now I want to run some, pandas, a local panda, using data frame. So the first thing I want to do is to first of all import my pandas as a PD. So let me quickly paste that. All right. So and we have a lot of things that we can do with our data frame here. So what I did earlier here, let me run that again, was I tried to display my data frame, just to show what I got there. I can do it again so that, yeah, so you can see that this is my data frame, data profile, and some other thing. You can go, see some other thing. Like I said, we can also do our analysis here. But at the same time, we can also, uh, share, information about, column. Let's see, our column. So there are quite a number of things. So this is our column name. Looking at it, it can show us everything. So we can at the same time, use our Spark, to show the sample, to view our sample. Let's try and show, our data frame as well. Again, I want to ask that it show, let me say 20, show 20. I'm just trying to tell you, a lot of things that we can do. You see, so you can see that we have quite a number of stuff that we can do with our data. So I want to also do a data exploration after the, showing our. I want to at this point I want to tell, let us know that data frame is not table and table is not data frame. So I want to create a temporary, table. So let's quickly do that and do some query. Let me create that table first. Let me quickly create that table. Then I will run some code. So at this point, I want to, query my table. I want to run some SQL query just to show my table. See, it's running. So I have my table here. I have said it should print, show all 10 rows. So, but very importantly now, as I wrap up, I want to also save my table permanently. Now I need to save it because now it's now table. So that's what I want to do. So I will run this code to save my table. So let's run this code. Save my table. So the error was a spelling error, which was, and I've corrected it. So let's run it again. So you see, so it has saved my table now. Can view it, can view my table. You see, this is my table. It's going to show me where it is located, succeeded, job created, and completed stage. Then this is my table. It has been saved, and every information about my table, the location where it's stored, everything here, the inference, how many things. So this is just to tell you that there are a lot of stuff we can do, on our data bricks. I hope this little demonstration show you that we really understood what we are doing. Thank you very much. Bye.